studio yet. It says it's being live streamed, but if you click over on the YouTube, oh no, it's live. Okay.
Yay, okay.
So we're live right now. If people go to the YouTube page, they can see this.
Nice. So then, okay. Get out of here.
So if you do it again and you don't quite want to go live yet, you just wait to click that.
Gotcha. Oh, geez. Okay, it's repeating what I'm saying. Do I need to do anything else?
You might not want chat on. So I think you can either do that from those three dots. No, or edit maybe. You might not actually be able to turn it off now that it's started. It should be fine. I just know Belfin was talking about not having chat, because then you don't have to worry about if there's people in chat or not. So.
Wait.
Thank you. Yeah, I just thought recently, like, that's a big one. I think it's kind of like here a little bit. You do? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's really big. Yeah, how
I think. Okay. Okay, it won't repeat itself. I don't think so. Sorry, Rue, can you repeat that? Because. Oh, no, never mind.
Sorry, was there something you?
Could you check the chat, please?
Oh yeah. Sorry. I don't think I said anything.
Wow, what happened here? I recently had to get this one again because and like I didn't even know.
So I would recommend that you have someone just keeping an eye on the chat for like YouTube, or you can do that. I didn't even think to tell you not to have that on.
No worries, I gotcha. I'm gonna go try and set it up on the big screen.
How are you?
Sounds good.
Are you good? Yeah,
I think so. I'm gonna go try and set it up on the big screen right now.
Okay. Well, it's the first time we're doing this, so no worries. And Rue, thank you so much for we just have to give it a try.
Yes.
Can you send it to me?
Yes.
I was gonna head out and work on some stuff, but if you need me, I will be around if you message me in Teams.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna. Okay. Yeah. To your.
And this one. Dedicated. You need the whole operating system.
Really? Yeah.
And the other thing to do is actually.
Tom Hanks, yeah.
Private network connection that you
Plays
can make
with-
with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when like passed away. You don't know Tom
Exactly.
Hanks?
That's
I know,
right. So
yeah,
I'll
no,
just
yeah.
download
Yeah,
the
he's
thing,
pretty
you can
famous.
give me that for free, which is nice, because now I have that.
Yeah,
That software that I could probably use after I'm out of here, so.
Yeah, no, there was
I'll
something
take
where I
it.
think it's,
So nowadays, they probably. We'll try to report, I guess. Oh, do we have for next year? Yeah.
Where are you?
Hello? Is it coming through on that? Oh, now it's working. Okay. Okay. 3 times a charm. Sorry about that. Yeah, talk.
Test. Yep.
Here. Here you go. Enjoy your online meeting.
Thanks. So we'll have microphone on that side. Everyone's good with passing the microphone. No? Okay, well, I will pass it personally if you want that. Yes. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. Just wanted to.
We have exactly 11 right now. We have 4.
Thanks, everyone, for coming. And Nelly, we are live currently, or on the YouTube?
Yeah.
On the YouTubes. Oh my God, they heard all of our technical difficulties. Hey, everyone.
Are other senators joining the YouTube?
I hope not, because it's just a stream. It's not like a.
Okay. Yes,
Cast disabled there.
I would definitely hope that. Okay, cool. Well, seeing as we have quorum, I will call this meeting to order at 5:08 on May the 2nd of 2022. Thank you all for being here, and I hope that your quarter is going well thus far. We can begin with our consent items. Do we have minutes to approve? Nope. Excellent. Then we are done with consent items. Are there any revisions to the agenda that anyone wants to have? I need to revise the agenda, and I'm going to add admin town hall to our other business. Are there any other amendments to our current agenda? Yes.
I want to talk about the community that I was addressing.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it's not going to take long. 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll add that to information items. Are there any other amendments to the agenda?
Oh, yeah, Cambria and I wanted to talk a little bit about union.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can add that to the information items as well. That's sick. Cool. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, we can move on to public forum. Is there anyone for public forum this week? No, we got public forumed out last time. Fair enough. Which means that we can move on to our information items for our guests, and I can give the floor to Kiara.
Yeah. Just so that you're heard clearly. Also for another
I'm just gonna send it right here. So yeah, I think, did everybody get or actually let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Kira. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the ASWWU Office of Civic Engagement Elections Coordinator. So if you guys don't know, the spring election is coming up. And so if you are interested in having your job next year, you have to refile. The deadline to do that is going to be this Thursday at 4 p.m. So it's really important that if you guys want to, you do that. We currently have a bunch of positions that have no candidates, and all positions currently are actually unopposed. The Student Senate colleges, or the colleges without any senators that have currently filed, is the Fine and Performing Arts, the Graduate School, the College of the Environment, and then The College of Business and Economics only has one applicant. The College of Science and Engineering has one. Woodring has one. And then at large has 3. And so it's really important that we get these positions filled. So I think all of you have received a recommendation form over the past couple of weeks. You can also access it on WIN. So if you aren't going to be refiling for your position, it's really important that Annie was saying, okay, good. So it's really important that if you guys, or that we like fill these positions. And so if you are not going to be returning to Western next year, or if you don't want to be part of the Student Senate, please fill out a recommendation form so we can get your positions filled. Oh yeah, and then we also have 3 positions for the executive board that don't have any applicants. So that's president, VP for activities, and VP for diversity. And so if you guys are interested in kind of making the jump from Senate to executive board, that's something that you can do as well. But yeah, you guys can contact me if you have any questions, and please recommend some students so I can email them and tell them they should file for candidacy. And then you should have all received an email from me asking you to sign up to table voting booths. That's going to be during the election. And so it's really important that we get students to do that. We have 138 hour-long shifts. So if you sign up to table for a voting booth, that is going to be paid time. It's going to be at the rec center from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. the week of voting at night outside of the rec center. And then we are going to be in the communications lawn and then also Red Square from, I think it's either 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. So it's really important that we get these filled up. Does everybody have access? You should all have access to your sender email. So I sent it there. And if you have any problems accessing the link through the email, please let me know. But it's really important that you guys sign up. I'm going to be sending out an email to other AS employees because we have lots of shifts that need to be covered. And so if you can, please do sign up. Currently, no senators have. And so when you sign up, make sure to put your full name and the office you are from. So you would just say like parentheses Senate, close parentheses. So yeah, I think that that's everything.
I kind of like skimmed it, but we're not allowed to table if you're running again.
Yeah, if you are running for any position or if you are campaigning on behalf of a referendum, you are not allowed to table a voting booth. But if you're still interested in kind of getting the word out about voting, or even just like wanting to help facilitating something at all, you can like email me, and there's other ways that you can help with the election. So does anybody?
Where exactly is the form for refiling? Is it online?
Yeah, the question, in case, because I don't know if they'll be able to hear you, but the question was asked where to find the filing form. Oh, you have a mic. Okay, never mind then. Yeah, so it's just on WIN. It should be a starred form that you can find at the top, and it'll say ASWWU Senate filing form and then exec filing form. So
I do believe you have to log into WIN in order to access the form. That was a conversation that some people had earlier. So if you don't see it, if you go into the form, just make sure that the form will be in your university.
does anybody else have any other questions?
Just comment, Gunther, regarding, I know the graduate school doesn't have anyone signed up yet, because both of us are graduating, so we can't run again, but here coming up in the next couple months, I know, because the deadline to file for is an MBA major, so we'll be doing some talks with the incoming students, and I'll definitely make sure to pass the word along and say how fun it is. It's awesome to be a part of. So just throwing that out there, it might be something that I'll have to coordinate with a little bit further deep, because the graduate school is, there's still not people in it, I guess, that I know now that will be here next year.
Yeah, definitely. And then if you know anybody that you would like to recommend through the forum, I'd really recommend it, just so we can get that. And then if there's any other way that you think I can reach graduate students and kind of motivate them to run, please email me. I think you should have my email because I like reached out to everybody. So say that again.
Cameron.
My name's Kira.
Oh, Kira. Gotcha. I'll definitely get in touch with people. That's just my bad.
No, you're okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Yeah.
When is voting again?
So voting, the form that I sent you guys, it's going to have the updated voting time. We are going to be extending the filing period, and so it hasn't been announced currently. And so we don't want to announce that until this upcoming Thursday, right before candidate filing ends. But the correct dates, I'm not sure them off the top of my head, but the correct dates will be in the Google form that you have access to. So.
Yeah, I'm not a senator.
Oh, you're not a senator. Okay, no, that's okay. So-
We're waiting because the House is still gonna prepare that for the extension.
Yeah,
And that's why it hasn't been announced. For transparency.
yeah.
You can say things. You're only one exec board member.
I at least intend on that. So.
You're good?
I think unless anybody else has any other questions. And if you don't sign up for shifts, I'll email everybody again and I'll CC you on stuff. So.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Gunther, I'm looking at it right now. Do I just put my name on this? or
Yeah,
do I-
put your name and then put student center or just put Senate in parentheses because I'm sending everybody an Outlook reminder. So it'll be in your calendars as well. So.
Signing up right now.
Excellent. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. That finishes up our information items for our guests, and there are no action items for guests. So we're on to personnel items. I don't believe that anyone has any personnel items, so we can go on to our information items for the Senate. The first item on information items for the Senate are our governing document amendments. I saw that it didn't, I must have forgotten to upload the document to the team site, which means that it's good that we don't have super majority right now because we couldn't be able to vote on it anyway. I will send out the governing document amendments that I'm proposing in our chat right now. And I will also send them to Nelly so that they can be projected on the screen. They are in our team site and I'm sending them to Nelly right now. Oh, I'm not in the Zoom call right now.
Oh, okay.
Is it okay if I just send them to you?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And these are my proposed wordings on the amendments that we've talked about in Senate before. The first one is an amendment to the meeting schedule that's currently laid out in the Senate bylaws. The Senate bylaws currently state that we have to meet every other week. We have to meet exactly bi-weekly. The proposed amendment there would just be adding the terms "at least" before biweekly. That way, in the future, senators and the Senate as a body can make decisions as to whether or not they need to meet more frequently. There have been several times this year in which we have not been able to meet frequently enough, and so things get pushed. At the exact same time, there have been times where we don't need to meet every week because we don't have the amendment. We don't have all of the. We don't have enough action items to justify meeting every week. So I think that this allows for future senates to have the flexibility to meet as often as they need to, while keeping a baseline consistency that's been established already. That's my thought. Are there opinions on that? Sorry, I know that isn't up on the screen quite yet.
Sorry,
no worries. For those of you who want to take a look at what the entire document is right now in our Senate bylaws, the amendment is under Article 5, subsection A. The document that I have just has what my proposed change wording is to that section. Yeah, so my proposed amendment to that first one is just the addition of "at least" biweekly. Yeah. Are there thoughts about this wording? Things we like, things we dislike, things that we want to change? Obviously, we don't have the numbers here to take a vote on this today, but we can amend this so it's easier to pass next time.
I thought bi-weekly meant twice a week. Is that the exact wording?
That is the exact wording. Bi versus semi doesn't make any sense to me at all. I have no idea. The only reason why I think that it makes sense, the wording makes sense right now, is that they specifically clarify that bi-weekly they mean every other week. If you know a better word that indicates every other week, I would love to use it, because bi-weekly is incredibly confusing to me.
Doesn't exist in English.
The word fortnight means.
Oh, once every fortnight. That's
tricky to hear without completely rewriting.
At least.
I would recommend every moon.
I think we meet twice a moon right now, though, right? So it's
Maybe twice moonly.
the Senate will meet at least twice per moon. True. Break it down by the houses. True. Okay. If there's no proposed amendments to that first one, I will come back whenever we have the proper voting numbers, and we will get that passed. My other proposed amendment is to Article 11. At present, right now, while the Student Senate has the ability to make and alter our own charter as well as our bylaws with 3/4 majority of the Student Senate, after we take a vote, it also has to be approved by the university president, Sabah, right now. Oh, what's up, Cambria? This creates slowdowns, because it means that even after we've created a vote, we have to wait until Sabah sees my email and says okay, if Sabah says okay, and these sorts of things. My proposal here is just to remove approved by the university president. We still have to report on changes to our governing documents to the Board of Trustees and at faculty senate meetings, which means that this doesn't actually reduce any amount of transparency in our meetings. It just allows for us to be more in control of our own governing documents. Is there concern, thought, change in my wording? This is just a redaction, so I'm not sure what wording needs to be changed, but.
Question for clarification.
Mhm.
This is just, it's changing it so that it's just us having to
Yes.
Okay.
The difference between the wording that you see on the screen and the wording that's currently in our documents is after it says student senate right before the period, in the document right now, it says comma and approval by the university president. And I've just removed that clause from the sentence.
Yeah, that seems totally agreeable. I'm not sure for the first one though, like if I understand the in consideration of other standing meeting times part.
That's currently in the document's wording. What I read that as is that if, for instance, faculty senate is also a bi-weekly meeting. And so if our meetings were offset, then we might change the meeting that we have during the same week or during the week that faculty senate is meeting. That way, because I have to be at faculty senate, that would allow me and or whoever's in my position to both be able to chair student senate and also perform my duties in faculty senate. That's the way that I read it, at least.
That makes sense.
Are there any other thoughts, possible changes, angry comments, no pitchforks? Okay. Okay, well, then we can't make this an action item because we don't have 3/4 of the Senate, but I will bring both of these amendments back in 2 weeks. And hopefully we'll be able to take a vote at that time. Yeah. Next is the SEJF campaigner. So as was briefly covered by Kiara earlier, on top of being able to run for each of our individual positions, there are a number of ballot referendums that are important. For instance, this year, the student tech fee is going to be reinstated, as well as ATF has their fee. And SEJF is also having a ballot referendum. What they're looking for is a student government employee, so hopefully a senator or some other person who'd be interested in campaigning on behalf of their ballot referendum. If you are interested in that and have the time and capacity, feel free to reach out to me. I will put you in contact with our Vice President for Sustainability, Laura Wagner, who is more in charge of the SEJF ballot referendum. And feel no pressure to tell me right now, but if anyone is interested now, I can forward your name along to Laura immediately. Otherwise, feel free to email me or Teams message me anytime this week. My goal would be to have someone, to find someone who's interested by Thursday. That way the executive board can approve you as the SEJF campaigner for the coming year.
Brenner, brain dead question. What does SEJF stand for?
Oh, I am so sorry. SEJF is the Sustainability, Equity, and Justice Fund. They are one of the longstanding funding mechanisms on Western's campus for a variety of specifically environmental and sustainability campaigns. I believe it was SEJF who sort of spearheaded the reusable or the single-use plastics ban on campus. That was zero waste. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think that they got on-campus compost.
Oh, okay. There we go. Thank you.
And Gunther, so I'm actually the GA for the class that the sustainability class right now that is doing a whole bunch of those projects, and they range from making like graduation more eco-friendly to actually putting a they want to put a wind wall that will actually create electricity, to actually putting a farmer's market that they want to do that'll have low cost food options for students. I mean, it's all over the board. They're really cool projects, and I enjoy working with them.
Yeah. So if anyone certainly has interest right now or realizes that they have interest over the coming week, feel free to reach out to either myself or Laura Wagner, and we can get that approved. those are my information items. Sophia, I think you're next. You had an information item?
Yes. One of them, I mentioned in a previous meeting that I was trying to like justice committee within each college. And I have already talked to my dean, and we kind of like realized that there's like accessibility, diversity, and inclusion committee, and I think a lot of colleges already have this. So what we were thinking is just kind of like push more of the social justice component in it. And one of the things that we agreed on is that we need to have more involvement of students in this committee. So what we're doing right now, and what I encourage every senator to do with their college, is to meet with students that identify as, well, what I'm doing is I'm meeting with ESC leaders, as well as like people who are like within the College of Humanities and Social Sciences that are part of these clubs, either Latinx Student Union, BSU, like all of these clubs. And I'm trying to like ask them what is it that they need from the college and what is it that they want to see. So just kind of how like to sit down and like talk about how they feel within their college and what is it that they need to succeed in their department and as well as within the college. So that's our first step. My dean also proposed to have like a sit down with them and like just like eating donuts with the dean, like kind of like event with the students who are interested to be part of this. So that's where we're at right now. We're also trying to like I address the curriculum building with my dean and how like it's important to like, push for decolonizing the curriculum. And we can do what we should do, for example, CHSS is such a big college. It's like the biggest college. And it's hard to like kind of create that impact, like just changing curriculum because there's so many departments and so many things. So we're, Rama and I decided that we're gonna divide the department. So we're gonna talk to each chair of the department and see what we can do within like that department to change the curriculum and also decolonize it and have more student involvement when it comes to curriculum building. So that's like the small update that I have. I'm probably gonna meet with some people during this week and next week. And as soon as that is, I'm also gonna go to the ADI committee for CHSS, and I'm gonna inform them about what the students told me and what they want and what they're expecting from their college. And that's basically it.
Is there a way that we can help you?
Oh, no, I think what the main thing why I'm like sharing this is because I think that you guys should like kind of try to push this within your college as well. Like talk to your dean and ask them about the ADI committee and like what they're doing for social justice and like decolonizing curriculum within the college. Because there's always something that can be done within each college, no matter what it is. If it's like economics or business, like there's always a way to decolonize the curriculum. So yeah, just talk with your dean about how are students being involved in curriculum building and how can they be involved. Just ask as many questions as you can in order to like have a more of a clear picture of what paths can be taken in order to like take action and have more student involvement.
I'm actually already part of our DEI committee for the CSE. It's part of our senator duties for the College of Science and Engineering. The College of Science and Engineering does not allow students anywhere near curriculum. It just absolutely won't let students have any input on curriculum. I think it's a conflict of interest in us having to say what we're being taught. Like there's literally nothing we can do for our current. We can't give any sort of input on that. They just don't allow it for our college.
Yeah. Like students can suggest things, but they definitely don't like to give, like, they won't give any like decision-making power. That all lies with the faculty in curriculum building, at least in CSE.
They also won't let us sit on any of the committees or anything that are involved with that.
If I may, on top or on the exact opposite side of that coin with Fairhaven College, we are the exact opposite, and that students have almost unfettered access to the curriculum to build their own custom degree. So there really wouldn't be any way to further diversify an already diversified group of students.
Yeah, that's one thing, that's one thing that I did like talk to my, she's like, no, like, Fairhaven is like way ahead of all of us, like, they already are like the
We got our
social
own thing going
justice
on.
college. So like, I understand that, I do think that's a bit problematic, at least in my perspective, because like, Western being such like a white dominated institution and having books written by dead white people with every college, not just like politics, like in every college, most of the books are written by dead white people, and that's very problematic in my opinion. So I think that I don't know how we can do that. I will talk to my dean about what can be done. Like I don't know if she will have any idea of how to like move forward when it comes to your college. Anyone have any idea?
To bring Shide, something that I can think about, at least for my undergrad, as a food science person, is I think challenging or asking the question to your dean as well as the rest of the faculty, what is the reflexive criticality, or what is the critical lens that you're bringing in terms of, because my understanding of a lot of science is like, I say hard sciences or like chemistry, all these things, who were the articles written by, and then what is the critical lens that's being brought in terms of like, what is their biases, or what is the, like asking faculty, what is any bias, if there is any, like with a specific piece or what they're sharing with folks, right? Because articles exist, but I would say it is fairly hard for science and engineering because it is going to be very like textbook heavy, textbook oriented in terms of just like regurgitating information. It's like I don't know if that's still the same within science and engineering. I think questioning or asking your team like, could we potentially have like maybe a topic that and see if folks within the faculty like would want to talk about medical racism and applies, right? Or like how does race, what is race, or how do we talk about eugenics, right? Because there are a lot of folks within the field of science, right, that talks about ableism and eugenics. So I think having that conversation of like, this is very real. How do we at least have some sort of step to get us towards that direction of it? Maybe one chapter, one lesson plan, and then see like have it prototyped and see what they can do from there. That's my thoughts and suggestions.
Or even like maybe suggesting like creating another course within the college that addresses like cultural issues or like racial issues, like all of this within that college can be another possibility if like it cannot be fit on the curriculum that is already made for that specific class. Maybe they do like a different class. And that can also be a good thing because maybe like POC staff can be hired and like we can get more POC professors as well. So just bring this up with your dean and really push for it because they probably will say no, but I feel like there's always something that can be done. It's just a matter of like pushing and not taking no for an answer.
We actually are trying to get an ethics course introduced into, there's not a lot of ethics in CSE course building right now. And so this has been one of Miriam's projects for the year, is trying to get a ethics course introduced at least one time, have it offered in the colleges, specifically within our college. And I don't know where Miriam's currently at with that, but the discussion was that essentially we need to find a professor who's willing to teach the class. So, and then after that, like course curricula is up to faculty. That's not really in our hands, but we are trying to get an ethics course introduced. So.
That's already a step forward. I think that's already great. And that's like what I'm trying to push for. Not specifically, maybe not alter the curriculum itself, but like maybe just little like things that you can do in order to diversify it, in order to bring more perspectives and more like points of view. Because as of now, a lot of the books that I'm reading, as I said, are written by dead white men. So like that's the point of view that we're seeing. And of course, like how are we gonna like push for like a more open-minded, different points of view? Like we're reading books that are only centered on this point of view. So either if it comes with classes or books or like topics or chapters, I would say try to talk to not the dean, but the chair of the departments. That's what me and Robert, we're gonna develop the departments, and we're gonna be talking to them about their specific department and what can be done in order to decolonize curriculum. So, yeah.
Sorry, did you say something? I didn't want to cut anyone off. I thought I heard someone else start to talk. Anyways, Keely, this is a little bit different from what you're referring to, but wasn't one of the BSO demands to mandate an anti-racism training in addition to sexual harassment training? Do we know who's working on that and what the progress is?
I'm not sure who's working on that. Technically speaking, it's probably me right now through the, right now we're working on revising the faculty ethics handbook. And that is currently an ongoing project. I'm currently trying to get a seat on that committee at all. That is currently ongoing. Yeah.
I did just want to indicate the class that you're referring to, the diversity class, it can actually be found if you were to look into our entirely misunderstood American cultural studies system. The program itself, this is what Lawrence and I, the director of the program, we've been working on it for a few weeks, and we're going to be meeting next week to continue discussing this. But one of the biggest issues and flaws with the program is that the description reads like you're just going to be reading about the classical white people that you were talking about. In actuality, it takes all that information and deconstructs it using that decolonized point of view that you were referring to. So if you'd like, I can keep you in contact with Loris and I as we move through this process, but it's just a matter of actually sitting down with Loris and presenting ideas.
I would love to, please.
Okay, I'll CC you on all our communications from this point forward.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Question. Do we know if there's like also if there's been any like real talk within the College of like Humanities and Social Sciences about trying to like form a Black Studies major? Because I know that's one of the BSO demands, and I know that was one of like the most shocking to me that we don't have one already.
If I may, Marion, this is Topper again. That's what I mean when I say incredibly misunderstood program. The major that you're referring to is already found within our frameworks. It's just the language used doesn't necessarily allow an individual to think that that's what it's about. You have to do a little bit of digging into your own on your own to actually discover what it means.
Okay.
That's one of the clarifications that I'm trying to work with Lourdes on as in the coming weeks. We're trying to clarify the program and then go through every single one of Western's offerings to see what can be connected to a further decolonized program.
Okay, that would be really cool. Yeah, and like deepen the scope of the program.
Yes. And then I don't know if Quincy is here. I don't know if if I'd be putting him on the spot, but he is one of his projects for this quarter. He's also been working with Dean Caskey of the Fairhaven complex. He's been trying to diversify our syllabi there and try to dig through all the syllabi and determine what is and is not satisfactory towards diversity goals.
Okay, that's really cool. Thanks.
Of course.
And just because I don't believe that Quincy is here, or at least wasn't whenever I was looking at it earlier, I have a meeting with Quincy tomorrow to go over curriculum review on that project, actually. So that is moving forward a very fast clip.
Wonderful. We have an update meeting on Thursday.
Excellent.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Questions regarding the pollution item?
Thank you, Sophia. Moving on, I believe our last information item is for Pearson Cambria.
Yeah. Yeah, so Camper and I have just been talking about organizing a student work reunion. It derived from doing research into the fees we pay, because currently we are under an exploitive system where we're currently paying ourselves. Just to give a visual, we all pay into the student and activities fee. We pay about $700 per year into that fee, and then that fee is used to pay us. So we are paying ourselves. So that was one thing that we kind of have an issue with, or that we think us as student workers are being exploited, because in any other business that doesn't fly. And then you want to talk about
Yeah, sure. So at the Earth Day events that I was speaking with Laura Wagner, we were both speaking with Laura Wagner about showed the contract, and we asked if they had, if our employees had ever considered unionizing. And the response was kind of yeah, they thought about it, but that they're going to get pushback from their employers, and that's not something that students should have to face. So we started talking about it, and we were like, why not unionize just in general? And at first we were thinking just the AS, but then broadening the scope to all student employees, and Kirsten and I have done a lot of research into undergraduate unionizing. Basically, undergrads weren't really allowed to unionize until last year. During the Trump administration, then there were rules introduced that made students who are working in a field that they're also studying in not considered to be employees, because their work was technically benefiting the rest of their life, and so therefore it's not work. But that got reversed last year, and let me think. In the document that I sent out, I included a bunch of resources, and one of them was a case discussion of Columbia University undergraduate unionization, and during that case, then student employees are now recognized. And I have a few questions that I need to ask someone about exactly how we can go about this, but as far as Pierce and I have researched, all we need to do is get 50% or more of employees to sign union cards. Pierce has researched a national union who could represent us that I linked also in the document. And there's some other resources that are some articles discussing how the process has gone down at other universities such as UFO recently, and also just the basic steps. Our vision for this is to unionize and create a list of demands that would represent student employees' most urgent needs. And then to deliver that to the Board of Trustees, we are also talking about maybe doing a sit-in protest, inviting journalists, making it a big thing. I don't know how fast we can get this together. We were hoping to have the protests and the delivery by the end of the year so that the OT can start to look at it over the summer, and just kind of wrap up the year with a bang. So I don't know. We wanted to bring it up to kind of gauge the temperature of how you guys feel about unionization. We've only briefly spoken with some other student employee friends, but other than that, we would love if all could also talk to other student employees in different departments and just kind of spread the word, see what people think. I'm riled up about this. I think in general, the energy is that people are pretty excited to finally have their needs represented, and just realizing this is something that we have the ability to do, and we should jump on it and become leaders for the rest of the universities in our state.
also, just to jump in really quick, the university has $105 million in cash. And they didn't pay hazard pay, like they were subjecting students to unsafe working conditions. And they're sitting on so much money and they're just like still like, treating students, like they're treating us like very badly. I mean, there's a lot of students that make Washington's minimum wage and like we all live in Bellingham, like it's so expensive, like you cannot live on 14, 40 pounds an hour. And so like one of the things we want to ask for is for a higher wage, as well as, if COVID persists, like hazard pay for workers, people like that are working at the rec, in the dining halls, like, these people like are risking their health and safety and they're not getting paid hazard pay. And the university like is sitting on, almost $700 million in assets, over 100 million in cash, and they're not like paying us and they're making us pay ourselves. It's insane.
Gunther, I just want to throw a couple things at you. Totally agree with what you're doing. Do it. The big thing that they're going to throw back at you. So I'm a graduate assistant senator with the MBA program, and we do get a stipend, which is low for what we do. We do get tuition forgiveness, which kind of makes up for that. The big thing that they're going to try to throw back at you is the fact that we don't pay for more than 30 or 40% of what it actually takes to put us through school, because we're a public university. So they're going to come at you and say, well, you're actually, you may be paying yourself back, but the taxpayers are actually providing the most benefit. So just be ready for that and try to hit them with, like you're saying, the hazard pay is good. There's a couple other angles you might be able to take regarding why aren't we just not paying tuition at all if we're doing what we're doing, which would more than make up for any of that, because I know at UW, any of the TAs or GAs down there, they don't pay any tuition. It is a full-time job for them, but still, like, at least give that to these folks. And then you have the ones that are outside of academics. I think this is one you're mentioning the most, who are working at the rec center or working in other jobs. They definitely need to get paid more. There's no argument there that doesn't fall into the fact that the cost of living here is so high. And I've taken and I have been doing so I'm involved in the Graduate Faculty Governance Council. It's kind of my subcommittee of that is the Program Review Committee. And I'm talking to a lot of these graduate students who are like, yeah, there's no way. Like we're getting hosed with how much they're getting paid for what they're doing inside of their respective colleges. So just be prepared for that, because they're going to come back at you with this, like, hey, really that $700 a year is more like $2,000 that the taxpayers are paying. So really get your argument going over how this will benefit them. Like, hey, if you can help us out, because the reason why that we should all be here and the reason why the state is paying for this is so that they have intelligent citizens. Like, if we can't focus on our education, then their money is being wasted. And if we have to think about putting food in our tables or mouths or whoever, then just really get into that part of it, because they'll come right back at you with that. I've seen it happen already. So
what do you mean by the tax? Like, could you explain that?
Like taxpayers.
Yeah.
So because this is a publicly funded university, 60% of all of our fees are paid by the taxpayers of Washington State.
I think the taxpayers pay the operating fee, which is like the tuition, and then we have mandatory fees that are on top of it.
Yeah. And that's again, that's a whole nother arena too.
Yeah.
And I may just be, I'm just saying that one fee maybe doesn't fall into that category, but just be prepared for them to come back at you with that immediately. And they might be sitting on cash. I don't know. I'd have to look at their books, but from what I can tell through working with the governance council and looking at what they're doing with scholarships and all this stuff, they're working to spread that out as much as they can to everybody. And it's a long process, a lot of bureaucracy from what I've seen. But there's a lot of folks out there, like go and talk to the TAs and GAs that are in those. Oh my God, they will be rallying to your cause. So just my perspective on that. Keep it in mind. You guys are gonna have a lot of fights ahead of you.
Yeah.
So, but it's worth it. It will be worth it. And literally just looking for tuition forgiveness, period. You know, it should be full tuition forgiveness for anyone who's in those specific positions. Then look at raising wages for other folks and build your argument around why the taxpayers' money is even here, right? And how this will influence their end goal and not wasting a dime.
Yeah, that's a great point. And my friend actually was working as a TA at UW. And he worked about 20 hours a week and he got tuition covered.
Yeah.
Just like, that makes sense. You're working 20 hours a week.
On top of doing whatever you're doing. And you know, I'm working part-time 10 hours, I get like 30% tuition forgiveness, which I love. But I'm still, like I'm working 10 hours plus a week on. Anyway, it's kind of a weird convoluted system that you're gonna see, you're gonna have a lot of interesting things. So just be ready for that.
I really appreciate your points, and I think that that's why it's particularly critical of the budget. Kirsten and I just emailed our dean asking her to send us a breakdown of what her budget cycle requests are this year. I would encourage other senators to do the same, just to keep on top of your college and kind of get a perspective on the administrative side of things. And I also think that it's especially important for us to talk to lots of people and gather some good ideas of why people might want to unionize, because that will give us, ways that we can kind of fight what you just said that the administration is going to throw at us.
Yeah, so there's two major things that I was thinking about when I first saw this. And although I'm generally supportive of the formation of a union, especially with regards to certain services like dining services or TAs, I think that first of all, the scope of what that union would look like would be very hard to understand, because student employees don't all fall under a single employer, because some fall under the AS, some fall under different services. And so if you are a union, who you're advocating for and who you're working with is going to be very different than for most unions versus what this would look like. And so I think that would cause a slight problem in just who the union is trying to work with. And then second of all, with regards to the fees that student employees are currently having to pay because they are students, although I think it's rough that they have to pay those fees, you're students, and so it's just part of the fees of being a student. And so we should seek to increase their pay, but by creating a different class of students, saying you're a student employee or you're a student and you have to pay those different fees, I don't think that sits well with a lot of students. And as the budget currently stands with the AS, we're already in a hole of $200,000. And if you eliminate those students from paying that fee, that's another $260,000 that we're not receiving every year, which would lead to the AS having to cut funding for a lot of those employees. And so I don't think that would be the best option. It also would seem that it would lead to a consolidation of employees outside of the AS, because if the university has to deal with a single union, they're going to say, okay, well, then you're going to go through us. And by that measure, students would have less direct control over where their money is going, I think, through eliminating a lot of the power that the AS has with its budgets and how we allocate our funding.
I agree with your first point about how it can be complicated to find a union that would be able to accurately represent the needs of all student employees. However, employees at Columbia University, UFO, among others, have already done this and have been successful. And just based on like the classification of us being public sector undergraduate and graduate employees, I believe that it won't cause issues. Here's my are in contact with or are trying to be in contact with a union advisor for Washington State that will be able to let us know how the process would work, especially under our laws, because, you know, the examples that I found were in different states.
And Barclay, then, if I can just add on to that real quick. I agree, River, that there are student employees are a rather large and wide group. One of the ways that other unions on campus have gotten around complications like that is a single union representing a series of bargaining units. For instance, the public sector employees, which are the union for a lot of like the clerical workers and other professional staff on campus, have, I believe, 4 different bargaining units, each of which contains a different set of employees, but that allows for different kinds of employees to be grouped together while still being under a single union, which allows to help clarify those things while also retaining power that you have whenever you're collectively bargaining as a single union. Just a thought. And these are also things that will get fleshed out on the bargaining table. And so, yeah.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
Gold, yeah, I agree with Brenner that I think having some kind of large super union with different groups inside of it, like maybe like library employees, AS and BU employees, food service, etc., would be a good idea, because I just don't think that different employee groups have the same collective bargaining needs. Would be a good idea. But my other question is, would Aramark employees be part of this unionization effort? Are they technically like university employees? Because like, even though hopefully we can get switched over to self-operated as soon as possible, I feel like we need to address it as like whatever the reality at hand is. So I'm like wondering if anyone knows the answer to that.
Yeah, great question. I'm trying to figure that out. I spent like an hour yesterday trying to figure it out. But either way, one of our main union demands that Pearson and I definitely want to promote is self-op. So
yeah,
even if Aramark employees can't be represented by the same union, I would hope that we would be able to have that goal accomplished.
for sure. Yeah. Because God, if anyone needs the union, it's like people working on campus in food service.
That's exactly why the idea came up between us in the first place, and I totally agree. Thank you.
And Topper, I just want to indicate something that Rivers' comment made me think about is there are different types of employment on campus. That there's the housing, that there are the administrative desk workers, and all. There are all different types of work. But then there are also those subsections of work in the fact that there are student employees like us, and then there are also work study employees who are not necessarily paid for by the school, but are paid for out of financial aid. But despite that fact, they're still doing work for the school. So how would those work study students be included in any form of unionization process without any potential impact to their benefits?
Good question, and I wrote it down. Thank you.
So I need my 19 hours for food stamps, healthcare, and financial aid. So all 3 of those are dependent on student employment. Also, I do a lot of work with the STC. From my last check, Aramark employees, the dining service employees, are specifically Aramark employees with the word that was used when I asked them about it was Western caveat, but I don't think they used that word properly. I think they meant to say that there's like a Western clause to Aramark employment, making them Aramark employees with a specific contract to operate at Western. So you would have to check on that, but it sounds like from what I was told when I started working with STC, that's what it sounds like.
That's
Yeah, I
represented to me the other day when I spoke with students for self-op, and I think that I can get confirmation again by speaking with the union advisor but all in all, strength in numbers. And if we can unionize everyone else, I think we'll be able to accomplish releasing our employees.
I also agree with that. The union would actually give a lot of power behind the contract agreement too. Because if they can help, like, the way things that I've observed get done in universities oftentimes is from outside pressure, not internal pressure. Students kind of don't hold a lot of sway over universities, like what they're doing, simply because they're already paying for what's going on up front. Like, it's not something, it's not a post-payment service. You're paying for it beforehand. And so it's typically outside pressure that is put on the universities that causes change.
Actually, now I'm thinking about it, it would really be good to present all of this information to the finance council, and even if there's nothing they can do, just to see what they say about how you can move forward from a finance perspective. They have, if not the final say, they have a massive pull when it comes to deciding budgets.
Okay. Oh, one more thing I did want to add was I went to a council meeting the other day, and I'm president of the Sustainability Advisory Council, and a couple of students for self-op came, and after they gave a quick presentation on why we should share the contract, and a staff member came up to us afterwards and said, he was like, I feel like I'm gonna get fired for saying this, but like, you should do like a sit-in protest, like make a big deal about this, like get community members, pack, you know, the whole main lawn with 1,000 people. Like, he was basically telling us that staff members are going to be a lot more supportive of this entire venture than we might think. You know, I have hesitancy to approach like an adult full-time staff because I don't want administration to catch me immediately and start, you know, talking about what they're going to do to fight this, because they know. But probably like bring it up in your classes, in your faculty members on our side, because I do agree with what Justin was saying, in that, yeah, there's power in other people being involved besides just students.
I agree with that. I think it,
Just to clarify, do you have any approximation of like when the process will be?
We're aiming for the end of the school year. I really think it depends on how fast we can spread information to everyone, and also how fast I can actually get confirmation that all you need to do is get over majority signing union cards and get those out.
If I may, I'm not a senator, my name is Sean, Ian, but I recently got involved with the Students for Self-Op organization, and one major thing that they were talking about meeting last Thursday was that the decision on whether to go directly to planning for self-op or whether to proceed with a request for proposals from the big three companies, Aramark, Sodexo, and
Ontario.
Yeah, that one. That will happen around the middle of this month. So they could decide to go directly to self-op, or they can decide to put out a request for proposals around the middle of this month. So they specifically said that a good contact for students to send emails to would be Melinda Husky. And just send personalized emails to her. And
she said that would show a lot of support for self-help during the process of deciding whether to go straight to that or whether to put out the question proposals. So I'm going to be talking about that from the students from self-help proposal side in one of my classes tomorrow. And that might be something you all consider to. Yeah. Yeah, it's Melinda Husky with a Y and spelled Huskey. Just Melinda.Husky at WWU.edu. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. The last comment I'll make is I'm glad to hear about this. As calculated by MIT, the minimum wage in Washington State is $2 below what living wage in Bellingham is and $3 below what living wage in Whatcom County is. And so that's probably bad. If there are no further comments on this information item, we can move on to Miriam's action item. Miriam, I will remind you that we don't have enough people to take a vote on this yet, but we can talk over your amendment and any changes to the wording that we might want.
Sounds great. Let's talk. Not actionable, but discussable. Wait, oh. This is, this.
Wrong one?
The wrong, yeah. Can you maybe put up the Word doc that I put in the thing? I think I accidentally put the wrong PDF. But if there's like the Word doc that I put in the little folder, that should be the updated one.
Okay, one sec, Queen.
No, no problem.
You said Word doc, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, done. We need 3/4 of the Senate here, which means that we need 15 senators plus me in order to take votes on this. Votes on amendments specifically.
Oh, there it is. Beautiful. All right. This is the updated version that was created in light of our last discussion on it. So I added like the Senate report saying that like a summary of the legacy document without like strange personal information would be like compiled and made public. And then, yeah, the legacy document part is pretty much the same. So that's it. That's the thing. If anyone has thoughts on any wording parts, go for it.
Mrs. Topper, I just want to indicate I'm satisfied with the document.
The grant. And then, Miriam, point of clarification, for the full completed legacy document to be discussed and voted to finalize at the end of the school year. Then with that being said, you're asking for the legacy document to be a public document, would be accessible by.
No, the legacy document would just be for the Senate, but it would just be for the Senate to know, like, okay, this is like done for the year. This is what we're gonna give to the new senators next year.
Then
Yeah.
I would recommend or advise that it not be voted, because if you do vote on it as a document, then it does need to be public.
If it's voted for, then it's gonna be, then it's public.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
My understanding is that y'all can still have a legacy document. You want this in the amendments to, or in the bylaws as a point of accountability, but then have the legacy document also be a form of a Senate report, correct?
I'm sorry, it's very, the owl doesn't pick up the people's voices very well, so I can't quite hear you.
How's it going? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Wonderful. So, yeah, my only point is that it's fine having legacy document as like, because you want accountability through all this, right?
Yeah.
So for the senators. So yeah, my point is to I advise not to have it as a vote, but you can still, I think having the Senate report's really good as a point of like transparency to the public, as you named in the subsection or clause 3. But yeah, that's the only consideration, is that if you want the legacy document to be public, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'll take out that part then, because
Into a yearly, so a summary of each completed and ongoing project will be compiled into a yearly Senate report. So yeah, a lot of the Senate report's fine to me.
Okay, cool. I'm good to move on if everyone else is.
If this does get passed into your bylaws, I also recommend that this goes college specific.
Okay, FYI, now we totally can't hear people talking in the Zoom.
Why? It's because I'm speaking away. So as another FYI, you will need to, if this does get passed, it does need to go into folks' college specific Senate position descriptions.
Okay.
But yeah, so. But I think if it's here, Cambria, it's going to speak loud enough, but if you're like. Nelly, hopefully you hear us.
So if we are satisfied with this document for now, please move on to Senate reports. Keeping in mind we have 10 minutes, and are there any? I'm seeing. Oh, Daniela.
Oh, okay. I feel awkward holding this. Oh, okay. I've been meeting with Stelfin, had us meet with Jack
Herring, his name is. He's the provost for undergraduate education. And he had a question that he wanted me to bring up to the Senate of the new provost that recently got elected to replace Frank Carbajal. And he just was wondering of anybody's opinions. I just wanted to report back to him. And he was also wondering if it was possible to maybe invite, I'm literally blanking on the university president's name right now. Yeah, if we could invite him for like maybe like 5 minutes to a Senate meeting just so he could explain our decision to us, because while we may not know much about it, he says it really does affect us. So I was wondering if anybody had any comments on that or knew about that, or if they think it's a good idea to invite him to a meeting to explain his decision.
Yeah, new dean, new provost, Brad Johnson, soon to be former dean of the College of Science and Engineering. Awesome and great and easy to work with.
Hey Dylan, your hand was up. Do you want to talk?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think it's a really good idea to invite them to just talk with them. And also, from what I heard at Policy Council that me and River attended, this was one of the few times that all the leaders and people in that meeting were like really agreeing towards this being one of the best steps and one of the best choices that Western had made recently. Since it was someone from Western that was elected upwards, and they really liked that.
Yeah, Jack also said that it's just kind of a good idea in general, just to have President Spall come to maybe like one meeting a year just to kind of see what we're doing. He was surprised that he's never come to a meeting this year, but I don't know if that's something else that people would be interested in. That is it for me. Reyes. She here.
Alfred just wants to confirm, would this be the time to address BSO demand updates? I have 3 of them.
Yeah, go for it.
Sweet.
Now is the time to do that. Yes.
Sweet. So Topper, just in regards to the BSO updates, we have, as I had mentioned to Naira earlier in the meeting, the director of the diversity programs over at Fairhaven. I'm going to be working with her over the course of the next month to decolonize pretty much the entire program that they have established in the form of the American Cultural Studies program. We're going to be reworking that into, as Miriam describes it, a Black major, but we're trying very, very hard to find some other wording because that just does not sound right coming out of anybody's mouth. And that's update number 1. Update number 2 is in regards to the STC. We're actively, at Fairhaven anyway, we're actively generating support for what I'm calling Operation Community Kitchen. It's a contingency plan just in case the efforts to remove RMARC or to the lesser degree replace them with the self-operated dining service fails. We're trying to implement 3 spaces on campus where community kitchens can be built with certain features such as ovens, maybe an air fryer, some food processors, just certain appliances that will help people generate meals to, if not completely eliminate RMARC profit margins, we can definitely make an impact and reduce them. The third update is in connection with the community kitchen. We're also in negotiations with the Bellingham Farmers Market, and which I'd actually like to speak with you on this, Gunther, with the project you're working on. We're actively trying to have the certain farmers from the Bellingham Farmers Market come down to campus once or twice a month for the entire year because it will be inside. So they'll have the opportunity to get rid of a lot of their back stock over the course of the year, and it would give students, as Gunther had mentioned, the opportunity for fresh produce on campus. The only flaw that we found in this system so far is lack of meat or protein substitutes like tofu. So we don't know how exactly we can generate wholesalers for those items for campus, but any ideas would be very helpful. I sent out an email to Laura Wagner and Gabe Wong of the STC Coalition, and I'm hoping to meet with them to expand this idea at some point in the next couple of weeks. That concludes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Are there any other Senate reports or BSO updates? With that and 4 minutes left, we can move on to our other business. I'm going to make a slight deviation and cover my other thing before I do the promotional material stuff, because that's going to be a conversation. As of right now, the OCE, the Office of Civic Engagement, is organizing an administrative town hall in order to put students in communication with our administrators. For those of you who have participated in lobby day and those sorts of things, the idea is to have a similar system where we have a series of questions that we meet with various administrators to ask. Specifically about things like our BSO updates and the NASU red letter and all of the various student demands that are going on campus right now. This is a two-part thing. One, in our Senate Teams chat, I've thrown up the link for the survey to ask what questions are important, because we can only ask salient questions if we know what people are wondering about and what people need answers to. I would ask that all of you please fill out that survey, but more than that, I know that all of you are involved in various civic organizations on campus, and please share that with those organizations. The more students that we know what they're wondering, what they want to know from their administrators, the better we can ask questions, and the better we can invite specific administrators who can ask those questions would be. The second part of that ask is we are currently looking for facilitators for these discussions, because setting up just a classroom full of students and administrator isn't going to necessarily give us the conversations that we want to get the answers that we need in order to organize. So we're currently looking for any senators who'd be interested in helping facilitate these discussions or help with the facilitation of the admin lobby day more generally. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in or want to have more information about, please feel free to email me, to Teams message me. I think that we've all interacted enough that you know that I'm not terribly scary, not terribly at least. So please, I would love to have conversations with you all. I think this is one of the best ways that we can get administrators to actually answer our questions on the things that we need in order to create the change that we want to see at Westman's campus. Are there any questions on that? Yeah.
Actually, it's probably would have belonged ahead of this town council thing that the school is trying to set up. The dean of the CSE is going to try and set up kind of like a meet with the dean hour, kind of office hours that's open for students of the CSE to come and talk to him about any issues that they see on campus. So
excellent. That's wonderful. Thank you, Justin. And just because I would like to get to it before we end all of this, the promotional materials. So who is it exactly that wants to, is it just like the pictures, video of Senate we were talking about at our one-on-one? Oh, it is OCE? Okay, cool. The OCE would like to create promotional materials for the Senate in order to encourage people to continue to register to run for Senate positions. They would like to come here, I don't know, take a video, take a picture, either before or after. Sorry, did I say something wrong?
No, I was like, I know.
Oh, okay.
It's not here, it's communications.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah. But before we do that, I want to pose the question to all of you. Is that something that you're comfortable with? Are you okay having your picture taken in this capacity? Are there things that make you uncomfortable? What's up, Doug?
I've actually already encountered them on campus. They came down to the Outback Farm on Tuesday. We're taking photos of the farm on campus. They're literally doing candid shots. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. They're straight up open about letting people step away while they take the photos. And
then... RIP to Oliver.
So sorry. Headphones.
Give the microphone to someone.
I don't remember what I was saying. What was I saying?
Outback.
Yes, they're doing all candid shots and they are doing some pose shots, but they're really just trying to get those pose shots with like faculty and student interaction. But otherwise, you can literally do whatever you want. You don't even have to say yes.
Are there thoughts, concerns? Is anyone vehemently opposed to having their picture taken? I'm not seeing anything, and obviously if the day comes and you're like, my hair looks terrible today, we can be sure to talk with the photographer about, not capturing everyone or these sorts of things.
Oh, Reyes,
yeah.
When would this be? What meeting?
This, we're talking about for our next Senate meeting, so 2 weeks from today.
We'll get all dolled up, okay?
I should not have the mic. You're just gonna whisper things to them.
I heard what you said.
All right. Well, with that, we have gone through our entire agenda, and I will adjourn this meeting at 6:32. Sorry, I was late by 2 minutes, everyone. On May the 2nd, 2022. Thank you all for your time, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Brennan.
See you all in 2 weeks.
Outback Farm 50th Anniversary Festival, May 21st and 22nd. Thank you. From the store.